Hey, friends. Good morning to you. Hey, good morning, gang. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello. How are you this morning? Hope you are well. Good morning, good morning. Another gray day here in beautiful Fall River. But, good morning. How is everyone? Great to see you. Good morning, good morning. I don't know if you saw this morning, but we were kind of inadvertently testing out some of our equipment this morning, our new live streaming equipment in the sanctuary. So we are working on that. So if you happen to see that, you got a nice shot of the sanctuary this morning. Hey, good morning, John. How are you? Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. You can't hear me very well. All right. Well, that's good to know. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me see what we can do. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Da, da, da. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Hey, good morning, Kristen. How are you? Great to see you. Glad you're here. Let's see. All right. How are you this morning? Good to see you, everybody. Glad you're here. I am. Good morning, good morning. I am not sure what's in terms of sound, John. I am not sure. If anybody else can let me know how the sound is, that would be great. That if you can hear me okay. But yeah, because everything looks like it's working on my end. Good morning, Yvette. How are you, everybody? All right. So we will. So, all right. Good morning. Great. All right. Thanks, Kristen. I appreciate that. So, well, let's get going this morning. We'll endeavor to persevere here. We are kind of in the middle of an office change, and we're continuing to work out our different bugs here and there. So, I want to. So I've been talking a little bit about that this week. Yesterday we came from the pineapple couch and talked about some of these new elements that are entering our world as a part of the 1111 world. So I want to welcome you today on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. It is Star Wars Day today, and I am glad that each one of you are here, that you're a part of this journey and the great and beautiful and epic tale that is our lives together. That even Star Wars has nothing on compared to the incredible adventures that we find ourselves on in this life and in this journey together. So I'm glad you're here and glad you're a part of this day. So it is May the 4th. So may the 4th be with you. That this day that in culture has become kind of known as kind of Star Wars Day. And for me, Star Wars was a huge deal growing up. I was one of those kids. I was about 9 years old when it came out. It caught me right in that magical place and that magical time. I was in an era where you could just drop a kid off at the movie theater and did so. And in fact, I counted it up that I actually think I saw it 13 times in the theater in its run. My mother would drop me off at the little cinema in Brunswick and go shopping and pick me up again. And I could not get enough of the first release, A New Hope, of Star Wars when I was a kid. It captured imagination, or at least, I don't know, it seems to have captured a lot of imaginations. It certainly captured mine. And one of the reasons is I think, and you've done a lot of, there's been a lot of, I mean, there's been hours and hours and hours and hours and hours written and studied on what it was about this phenomenon that seemed to capture the world. But part of it was and you might have you yourself may have watched one of the documentaries about how they made all the different things, like how they blew up the Death Star, how they made the sounds of these different things of a laser pistol or of a lightsaber, and all this behind the scenes stuff that was working itself that was at play in order to create the effects, because the effects had never been created. They were in an age where the synthesizing of sound, the way we can do now, that we can simply make a sound, on my iPad, I can make sound, any particular sound I'd want to make, we can generate. But they had to do this in an analog way. They had to figure out, and that there's a whole scene and whole journey where they bang on pipes, and that they find this right pipe that's the right length, that every time they bang on it, that's the sound of the laser pistol. All of the different things that get generated kind of behind the scenes in order to create the effect of the film. And it's not only a beautiful testament to imagination, it's not only a beautiful testament to the bringing of really an incredible story, of a heroic story into the world, that is the story of Star Wars. But it is particularly those early movies. But I think it is when we look at how it's made and when we give it a little homage today, it all seems very quaint, doesn't it? I mean, in the world of Pixar, in the world of CGI and all the things that simply have been able to be created in fantasy and imagination now. But there's a way in which this, I think, links us to, if we let it, links us to some of the deeper experiences of life, or at least helps us link the experiences of life that we have into deeper realities. And my example is I've been moving my office, and so when you do that, you kind of take the things off the wall and you put new things up on the wall, and you move things around and you change things, and it's really this invitation to see the things that are behind the things, like to see the behind the scenes work that has gone on, that has been a part of our lives and our world together. And that, we do this, and we memorialize this, we note it, we see the significance of it with all kinds of little things, and often they're the little things that we end up hanging on our walls in our offices or things like that. And that's kind of part of the exercise that I've been doing. But all the things, and this is really where I want to take us this morning, is and I want to invite us to step into in contemplation, is that all the things really are made by God. The beginning of the Gospel of John is perhaps one of the most powerful and most beautiful alliterations of how we understand God breaking into this world, not just giving us breath, but giving us life, and life in abundance that goes beyond simply the the bag of protoplasm with an urge to procreate, the chemical reactions that happen in our brains that make us, sad or fall in love. That none of those things are what it's really about, but it's much more about the behind the scenes action of things. That these great few verses. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. For in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. And the light was the light of all people. That there is this life, not just at work in the fact that I have a heartbeat and that I'm taking in oxygen and giving off carbon dioxide, not just in the chemical processes that are going on in my body, but there is life in the interest and the excitement of seeing people pop in and seeing Cecile come by this morning. Good morning, Cecile. Love to see you. That to seeing us gather together in this little small way, us journeying together in the wider way, in this creation of life that we have together, us being a city here in Fall River, and all the wonderful and woolly and crazy stuff that happens in the wider community, us being a worshiping community together, us being a group that gathers, all of the things that are behind the scenes of the life in which we're living. And that's the light of life. That, if you look behind me, you can probably see there are sticky notes on the wall. And I put those up to figure out where I want to put stuff that I'm going to hang. And so as I'm working through the hanging of stuff, I figured I'd share with you the things I'm going to hang on my wall, because I think they're a beautiful illustration of this idea of this journeying, the fact that there's a thing behind a thing. The thing that I'm hanging on my wall are so insignificant, little pieces of paper impressed between glass, pieces of kind of junk wood that have been sanded and painted. They're insignificant. They're useless and worthless in their material expression. But that which is behind them carries with it incredible power and incredible depth, at least for me. And that's why I would choose to put them on the wall. That all things were made by them, both the plaques and the papers was made by God, but also the experience through which they are pointing and to which they are experiencing, to which they are taking us into the inner realms in which we explore in the wider realms in this with these external parts that we have. In the way that the Star Wars film cast upon a screen flickering lights and noises. Those flickering lights and noises came to string together a story by assaulting my eyeballs, my retinas, with particular wavelengths, and by banging bones together in my head with particular waves of sound. And through that transformation, I came to see Leia and Han and Luke and embrace them as a part of my young cosmology of heroic story that I would be a part of. And that all of it is made by God. All of it is a gift to us. And because without any of it, nothing ends up being made. Without him, anything. And so that God inhabits all of the stories, both in the broken ones and the reclaiming of the ones. So I just want to take a minute and share with you the stuff that I'm going to hang on my wall, and maybe you can get what I'm driving at in this, that there's that even in these small tokens, I see behind them infinite universes, and that not just because they're significant for what they are, but I would suggest to you that nearly everything we encounter has behind it a universe of being, has behind it a story upon a story upon a story. Every grain of sand on a beach has gone through a grinding process that has taken it through the depths of a river and through the length of an ocean and has come to rest under your feet. That all of creation has behind it this incredible journey, this incredible life, and the life that is from him, and the life was the light of all peoples. This life that is in our creation is the light of all peoples. So what are my things? What are my little 6 stickies back here? All right, so first is there is this that I was given by Troop 254, which was the Boy Scout troop that met at my last in the church that I served in Warren, Maine for 6 years. I came to know these guys really well, and I would still consider any of them friends. And in fact, through my time there, they lost their scoutmaster, who was an incredible guy, incredibly beloved, Vern Bradine, and we walked that troop, and we walked his mom and daughter and son through their grief in those days, and honored him and lifting up before God. And that when I see this little plaque, there is an incredible richness and experience of the days that I got to just kind of walk through the room and say, hey, good evening, troop, and to have the call back arise, and to welcome all of the great servants of helping bring make boys into men that they did, that they were about. Another one is my little congregational Center for Congregational Leadership. I didn't begin my journey in faith in the congregational way, but I am sure thankful to be in it now, and that this journey, that what's in this little certificate, my decision to step into this relationship, that it brought me all the relationships that I would have in Warren. It brought me all the relationships that I would have here in this church and in Fall River, and love and the gift and the love of being able to be here, and the privilege to be the pastor, the privilege to move into this new office. Like all of it, every piece of it is hinged upon the entry and the journey into this, and how cool that is. I don't want to share them all with you now, because now I feel like this is getting weird. But anyway, I've committed to it, so I'm in. But now I'm feeling overexposed. I just want everybody to know that. All right. So then, this was from my time as an Army chaplain with the Surface Deployment Distribution Command, which was, they were basically a bunch of transporters. They moved things around the world, and getting to journey with those soldiers and those sailors and airmen, that they were a joint group, and as well as the so many DA civilians that many of whom I still consider friends, and I still hold in high esteem, and the ability, the gift to serve them. And there are innumerable stories behind this little piece of wood of being able to tend people in their grief, being able to celebrate with people in their life, and being able to bear witness to just God's love in the midst of hard things. This is getting weird. I'm right. It is weird. So this one is the retirement plaque from my time as an Army chaplain. After 26 years in the Army Reserve, I retired as an Army and all the experiences that I had as an Army chaplain, as a soldier, are wrapped up in this dumb little piece of paper that isn't even framed properly, and that I can look at that, and behind it I can see warriors and soldiers and loss and love and sacrifice and my own journeying with them. This is from my one of my master's degree studies, the Swedenborg School of Religion, and the incredible connections and love that I have, that whole tradition brought me to faith, that allowed me to know something about Christ, allowed me to know something about the world as it is, and allowed me to know something about the world behind the world that we're talking about today. And then lastly, my degree from Andover Newton Theological School, my Master's Divinity certificate, and all the incredible people that I still consider friends, Raman Longcarden and all of the folks that are part of the journey, Ned Parker and what it is to be a part of the Andover Newton community. Okay, yeah, I didn't blow that up as much as I wanted to because I feel like it got weird. So thank you anyway for, I'm overexposed. Sorry. But I wanted to show you and to share with you the things that are going to go on my wall because every one of them are a touch point. Every one of them has a universe of experiences behind it. Every one of them has a lifetime of bearing witness to God's love and God's in action, at least in my life, and that's not even the lives in which that were shared with me. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made. That all the things, the certificates and all of the experiences behind the certificates, the sound effects of banging on pipes and the way in which those sound effects were wedded and woven and made into an incredible story in the sound effects of Star Wars on this May the 4th be with you day. All of it is a gift from God. And it's my hope today that maybe you will look at the things of your world, look at the things of your life, and not just the tokens that are there to remind you of things of the past, but the very things that are playing themselves out, the very and what is behind them, and the way that God's love and God's grace is being expressed through them. Because both the thing and in the external and the thing and that which is being expressed through the thing in the internal reality of it all of it is the life that is given in the light to all peoples that God has granted us. I want to close this today with with a part of a poem that I think captures this way more perfectly than anything I'm ever gonna talk about, which is from a guy by the name of William Blake. And Blake writes this invitation called the songs of innocence, in a way, and so he's trying to point us towards this reality. I think he's trying to show us that it's not just the banging on the pipe that is banging on the pipe, but that behind it is, and its use of it in the world is a way that unfolds an incredible story. It's not just a piece of paper talking about an experience, that points us back to an experience that is the experience, but that within every grain of sand in creation, within every sunrise and sunset, with every flower, with every blade of grass, with every smile and every breath, behind it is an infinite expression, is an infinite story, is an infinite grace given to us by God who loves us. So here a little bit of the Songs of Innocence from William Blake. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold eternity in the palm of your hand, infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. A robin red breast in a cage puts all heaven in a rage. A dove house filled with doves and pigeons shudders hell through all its regions. A dog starved at a master's gate predicts the ruin of the state. A horse misused upon the road calls to heaven for human blood. Each outcry of the hunted hare a fibre from the brain does tear. A skylark wounded in the wing, a cherubim does cease to sing. A gamecock clipped and armed for fight does the rising sun affright. Every wolf's and lion's howl raises from hell a human soul. And through all these images, we come to the end of this, where he writes, "The winners shout and the losers curse, dance before dead England's hearse. Every night and every morn, some to misery are born. Every morn and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to endless night. We are led to believe a lie when we see not through the eye, which was born in the night to perish in a night, when the soul slept in beams of light. God appears and God is light to those poor souls who dwell in night, but does not a human form display to those who dwell in realms of day." My hope for your friends is that you will dwell in realms of day today, that you'll not be caught up in the material of the world, that you'll not be caught up in the events of the world, that you'll not be caught up in all the comings and the goings and the pieces and the parts, but that you will see that in this all of this external cacophony, this external chaos, all that is unfolding, all that is in all of its undoing, we have the chance to see the world in a grain of sand, heaven in a wild flower, and to hold infinity in the palm of your hand. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. We will pick it up tomorrow. I'm going to be out of the office, but we'll still have 11:11. Don't you worry. So I look forward to seeing each one of you then. Peace and grace to you all, and may the 4th be with you. Yeah. Peace and grace, my friends.